Here we go. All right, so this is real crazy. Everybody, welcome to the Czinger 21C. I need to make it cold. It has climate control. This is real crazy. This is basically the craziest car I've ever driven. You can just look at it and see why that is. But here's what it's like. You start up in EV mode. So this is, here we go, look. EV mode, we have a 4.5 kilowatt hour battery pack, and nobody cares about that because sport mode fires the engine and bang, there it is. And now we are off. I haven't been patriotic in a couple of years, but this car is changing my mind, folks. The Czinger 21C, and this is called the VMAX. It has no wing, it has a long tail, and it is designed for low drag coefficients and top speed. Now that doesn't mean on a canyon road that it doesn't have plenty of mechanical grip, but let's go through what this mental thing is. It is the project of father and son Kevin and Lucas Czinger. Kevin owns a company called Divergent 3D. Lucas runs the car company, Czinger Automotive. And they are changing the game, folks. I want to tell you about all this stuff they're doing, but at the same time, I've got to do it while driving an insane automobile. Most people refer to this thing as the world's first 3D printed car. Jesus Christ. That is not entirely true. It is not a 3D printed car. However, there are 3D printed components. Lots of them, in fact. The chassis is a carbon tub with bonded 3D printed subframes, 3D printed cantilevered suspension components, 3D printed wheel hubs and brake calipers that are one part. It is some of the wildest manufacturing you'll ever see in your life. The driving position, I mean, look at me. I don't need to tell you what this is. Highway to the danger zone, baby. This is Top Gun. The passenger goes behind me and spreads their legs to wrap around my bum. Quality stuff. Wow. Wow. The view forward. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And it really reminds me of the first time I ever went to Sweden and drove a Koenigsegg. Now this goes beyond Koenigsegg, honestly, but you get in, you start it, and you go, this is different. Oh my God. Wow, okay. It's also definitely the fastest car I've ever driven. Okay, it's 1,250 horsepower, runs on 91, with a fully bespoke 2.88 liter V8 twin turbo making 950 horsepower, backed up with an e-motor at each front tire, an e-motor in the gearbox, 1250 with that instant torque. Wow. Now there is a single clutch X-Track Motorsport gearbox, but what's really amazing is how well that axle motor, that rear flywheel motor in the gearbox, fills torque, genuinely eliminating most of the problems that you get from a single clutch gearbox. It feels like a dual clutch gearbox because you've got torque fill. And when you smash it, oh my God. So, I was just 3,000 RPM from redline. It goes to 11. It's a twin turbo V8 that goes to 11. Wow, okay. Now, the steering, it's very Formula car. It's very tight, stiff, heavy. What? Now, because it's carbon and there's not much insulation, you hear the road, you hear the gravel and the sand, all that kind of stuff. It makes you go, wow. It makes sounds I've never heard cars make, you guys. This is F-Zero in real life. Like, it's not like it feels like a Formula car. This is a spaceship on the ground. The engine, the gas engine, is so smooth that you feel only the very high frequency vibrations. No other vibrations come into the chassis or my butt or my hands. It's narrow. Because I don't have a passenger side by side, you can make the car narrower, like an F1 car. Cars don't necessarily need to be wide to handle well. And so because this car is narrow, wow, it has a narrow front track, I can move within the lane. That's something I can't do with other hypercars because they're all so wide. Now, it does require my focus, and I'm not going that fast. This is a full focus car when you're doing dynamic driving. And it does require a lot of muscle. It wants to turn, it doesn't want to relax, and so the steering is a little twitchy. Those downshifts, they feel really smooth. That's where cars like the SSC and other single clutch gearbox cars have a problem that this car doesn't have. That mid-throttle acceleration, like right now, just like 30%. Oh yeah. And the E-motor keeps it moving while the gearbox changes. That's so nice. Now, fortunately, you really don't have to go hand over hand very often. The ratio is quick. This car is so crazy. I'm trying to explain things to you, and what I'm trying to not do is just say, it's so crazy over and over and over. Here is a very tight technical section. Now, considering this car is supposedly under 3,400 pounds wet, I'm surprised at how firm it is. I would expect it to be a little smoother, but they told me that the VMAX version has the same shock settings as the downforce car, so you could see how if it was set up for more downforce, you'd want it stiffer. Jeez. It's so light and airy. There's just so much glass around me. I can't believe the power is just wild. There's weird noises, so the power steering makes a little bit of a weird noise. The E-motors and the gears, they make a little bit of a weird noise. We're going to try to, we'll do a launch. We'll put it in track. Also, okay, let's talk about the seat for a minute in this central position. Little awkward to get in and out. Once you're here, this is a beautifully comfortable seat. It's a Recaro seat out of like a regular road car, like an Evo, which is a good thing. I mean, the position, I'm 252 right now, and I'm 6'2", and I have plenty of room. My ergonomics are correct. Someone behind me, a little different story. I drove the BAC Mono 2 years ago for Road and Track Performance Car of the Year. This is like that, but good. Something really interesting about this car and other hybrid cars is where what you call the blend point is on the brakes. The beginning of your brakes is regen, and then after a while it becomes caliper. So the question is, when does that change happen and how? Because this brake pedal feels a lot like McLaren's, being very heavy and you have to add a lot of pressure, I think that masks the handoff of regen to caliper quite well. You're just cruising at 8,000 RPM. That's so nuts. I mean, at 2.35 million, which is what it costs to get one of these, and I don't have that kind of money. But if I spent that kind of money, I would want a truly unique motoring experience. I wouldn't want a sort of regular supercar that had just been turned up to over 1,000 horsepower. I wouldn't want that. Wow. Oh my God. It moves around a little under braking. Maybe you need the downforce one to keep it steady. It's susceptible to undulations in the road. You really have to hold tight. Everything about it's really tight. And so little bumps, you gotta focus. But I'm saying, wait, I gotta do it. 11. I mean, technically, I got off the pedal at 10,750. That was where I lifted, was 10,750. Oh my God. This is one of the nuttiest cars I've ever seen. I just can't believe it. My palms are so sweaty. My shirt is soaked through with sweat. I have the air conditioning on. That's nuts. For this kind of money, I want something that is literally out of this world. That is like an entirely new school of thought about cars. An entirely new ethos. Not just a fast car. That's what this is. This is the whole new thing. It's the kind of car where if you're going to spend that kind of money, everything about it feels different, but you don't have to relearn to drive. You know, like just regular driving becomes very, very different. That's what I like about the Manx. That's what I like about when you start to get to the end, when you've tried all the regular shit, the weird shit, when the weird shit is good, you're like, oh, every little bit about it is just very different from other cars, which, like, for that much money, isn't that what you want? Like, you want driving to somehow change. And that's what's really cool here. And don't forget, always fight your tickets. Go to offtherecord.com/TST for 10% off all legal services from Off the Record.